So I have some explaining to do. So there's a box here. So, hello Power Rangers Lightning Collection fans, and welcome back to Toku Topics. This is a pretty sizable box from Hasbro Pulse, and I need to explain myself. So this is the Power Rangers Lightning Collection Zord Ascension Project Dino Megazord Special Edition, as in the NFT Special Edition, as in the item that I swore I would not buy. But clearly I did. And I want to explain how this happened and why I did this. Because I feel like I've betrayed you all by doing this. And I feel bad about doing it. But I do want to explain how this happened, because it didn't happen via like the necessarily traditional means of how you were kind of supposed to get this Megazord. So we're going to start this video off with a little bit of a story time explanation before we get into actually opening this up and showing it off in a video. So let's go back to 13 months ago. So the story of how this happened happens 13 months ago at Hasbro PulseCon 2021. So as you all probably remember, at the very end of the show, there was a special announcement from the Hasbro Power Rangers team where they announced Hasbro's very first NFT. And I was so pissed off, so royally pissed off, and still am. It's been 13 months and I still absolutely despise what happened with this. Because basically it really soured the whole announcement of the Zord Ascension project in the first place. This new expansion, kind of new line for the Lightning Collection, finally bringing some Zords to this collector line after years and years of fans asking for it. And basically what happened with this is that they said there were going to be, NFTs, you were going to have a couple days to order them off of Hasbro's website. The problem is, though, is that even if you were very against NFTs, which a lot of people are, and of course for some people they like this, they like NFTs, they think it was cool that Hasbro brought, Power Rangers into that whole thing, and for the people who are like all into this, great, I'm happy for you that Power Rangers is involved with it, if that's something that you wanted it to do. But the common consensus, and I think a very vast majority of people, absolutely despise them, have despised when Funko did it for Power Rangers Funko Pops earlier in 2022, and a bunch of other things. And this was absolutely no different. Now, I am very NFT against. I'm very much against cryptocurrency stuff and NFT stuff. I think I've seen enough videos and articles and stuff like that just show how much of a scam this all is, and how arbitrary it all is, and how bad it is for the environment, because of all the energy stuff that happens with how much power it takes to hold on to these things and produce these things and maintain the blockchains and everything, which yes, people are always going to argue that it's not that bad. Producing these physical products of toys are also doing that as well. All this other kind of stuff, which is not unjustifiable excuses towards it, or counter arguments towards it, but I still prefer always, and I think a lot of people would as well, to have a physical product than just owning some kind of digital PNG that I can right click and save, as I have done with pretty much all of the NFTs from the Power Rangers thing, all 2,200 of them. But basically, for a refresher on how this process was supposed to go, you had basically 3 days to order an NFT from Hasbro Pulse. Then after that, if you had an NFT in your Wax wallet, which is what Hasbro partnered with to do this whole thing, you had to wait until they sent you a Power Coin NFT, which is this GIF right here, where the Power Coin would just spin around and everything. And then if you had that in your Wax wallet, you had a week to redeem it and then burn it. And I still don't really know what that means, but when you did that, you no longer owned that NFT. And when you burnt it, you were redeeming it for a physical version of the Zord Ascension Project Dino Megazord in a black and gold color scheme. Now, this ate away at me for weeks back in October and November of 2021, because I absolutely love the Lightning Collection, and I've always wanted to, and have been very proud of the fact that I've been able to maintain a fully completionist mentality and collection for this line. It really means a lot to me to being able to actually own every single thing of the Lightning Collection, whether that's posters or Lunar Wolf Ranger variants or t-shirts or stuff like this, even with how stupid and hoop jumping it has to be to get it. And I had made it very clear that I was not going to buy it, that I was going to accept the fact and hold my ground against NFTs and not buy it. I specifically tweeted out on Lightning Fig PR that I was not going to cover NFT stuff on Lightning Storm or on the account, and that was true. There was updates about the Megazord throughout 2022, such as it being delayed from an August release date to a November release date. There was updates about it actually like shipping out and people getting it and everything like that. And there was also updates about the whole thing actually getting extended, because basically the whole process to redeem it was so convoluted and confusing that a ton of people didn't do it within the time frame that Hasbro allotted for it, so they had to expand the redemption period. And even then, we can actually see how many NFTs sold, how many PowerCoin ones of them exist. And as you can see, this number right here is how many of them actually exist, which is the like technical max amount of the Zord Ascension Project Megazords that are out there. And you can see how many of them were actually burned, which means that those were the amounts that were actually redeemed for the product. So there's like 200 or so that were never redeemed, which means there's just a bunch of these PowerCoin NFTs out there on the market that if you buy them, they're completely useless. Which comes to where and how and why I got mine. So first of all, if me owning it and going through the process sort of makes me, I definitely think that it makes me hypocritical to the words that I have said on Twitter and on YouTube, and for that I do apologize for what that makes anybody view me and what I've done as. I do apologize in that regard because I did go against my words in a way and buy it. But what I also did, what I did was I didn't buy it directly from Hasbro is basically what happened here. So I did not, and this is 100% true, I did not buy the NFT from Hasbro Pulse. I let the 3 days of PulseCon weekend 2021 go by. I let that go to sold out. I never bought one of the packs. I do not own one of the Power Rangers NFTs. What I did end up buying, though, was that PowerCoin one that you got sent in your Wax wallet or whatever, if you had one of the initial 2200 ones. If you got sent that one, it was an NFT in of itself. And you could take that, and that's what you needed. You just needed the PowerCoin NFT GIF to burn that to get the physical product. But the thing is that since that was an NFT in of itself, people could sell that on the marketplace for whatever they wanted. Like, I don't know, less than what Hasbro was asking for it. So basically what happened was Hasbro wanted $199.99 for the initial NFT. So the minimum price that this Megazord was supposed to be was $200, which is $35 more than the regular colored version of the Zord Ascension Project Dino Megazord that I still don't even own that one yet. It's because I'm waiting for that to go on enough of a sale that I feel is justifiable for me to actually finally pick one up. And I will be picking it up here very soon, especially now that I have this one. I want to kind of compare the two. But basically what happened was, in early November 2021, I was looking at the marketplace because even though I refused to cover all this NFT stuff and give it any kind of promotion and, give Hasbro any kind of free advertising for it, I refused to cover it on my official channels, but I was still looking at the information in the background so I could add it to the Lightning logbook that I'm always very behind on, so I could keep the historical, stuff intact and just kind of still talk about it for a historical purpose rather than a reporting purpose. And by doing that, I saw that some people, were selling just that PowerCoin NFT for less than $200. So I bought one. So I bought one for not $200. I actually bought it for pretty much essentially the price of the regular color version of the Dino Megazord. So I actually ended up getting it less than $200. And since I bought some random person's PowerCoin NFT, I never gave Hasbro a single penny for this thing, which in my regard makes me feel a little bit more morally better about it that I didn't give Hasbro any money for this directly, because that means I did not support what they did with it. Because I wanted to vote with my wallet that, hey, I do not like this at all, and so I'm not going to give Hasbro money for this because I do not want them to do this NFT stuff connected to products again. If this was just a Hasbro Pulse exclusive black and gold Dino Megazord that you had to order within a very specific amount of time and it had nothing to do with NFTs, I would have absolutely been fine with that. I would have bought that immediately, not even a second of second considerations or second thoughts for it. But since it was such a convoluted process, it took a couple weeks for me to come to a place morally and just financially and just kind of in the right mind space to where I figured it was okay enough to justify getting it. I did own one of the PowerCoin NFTs for 30 minutes, and then I immediately burned it, got my email confirmation in November 2021 that it was going to be shipped to me in August 2022, then it got delayed to November, and then a couple days ago when everybody started getting theirs, mine arrived as well. So I have it. And in that regard, I'm happy that I have it. I still feel bad about buying it. I just wanted to come out and explain why and how. I mean, at the end of the day, if I wanted to buy it with my money, I'm absolutely allowed to have done so. But it's just the fact that I had said how much I was against it And the fact that I said I wasn't going to buy into it, and then I ended up doing it anyway, I feel bad that, you know, I feel like I'm very hypocritical for that. I said that earlier, and like I said earlier as well, if that makes any of you guys think less of me, I think that's justifiable, and I'm sorry. But I did want to have a complete Lightning collection, and I figured it kind of always in the back of my mind that even if I didn't go through the NFT process to get it in the first place, that eventually I might try to track it down on the aftermarket, which is going about exactly what you would expect. With there only being like 1,200 of these that we know of, I'm sure Hasbro probably made a couple extras. They are selling and are being sold for hundreds, thousands of dollars on eBay, which is absolutely absurd. But here it is. Let's open it up. Now, in some regards, I'm also excited to open it because I have not got a single Zord Ascension Project Megazord yet. I don't have Megazord. I don't have Dragon Zord yet. Now, in my review, whenever I do that of the Megazord, whenever I get that thing, I will do a comparison between the two. And another reason is I really wanted to get this for a video and do a video on it. I was always debating if when it arrived, if I should do a video or not, if I just should have just kept it a secret and never show that I actually ended up buying this one so you guys wouldn't think less of me for it. But I ended up doing a video on it anyway, which I think I'm going to publish. I'm going to show it to a couple people and see what they think. And then if they think it's okay enough to post it, you know, then I'll post it. But I also thought, since there are so limited of these, and I don't know how many other Power Rangers like YouTubers would have bought into this, that there might not be a lot of videos. And so for people who might want to see what you're kind of getting with this, or if you're thinking about buying one in the aftermarket for the insane prices and you want to see if it's worth it, I do want to have that opportunity for you guys to be able to see what you get with this. So here we go. I mean, it is really, really pretty. I will say that. That is, I mean, it is absolutely gorgeous, though. I don't think I've seen the Zap box in person. I saw the Zap Megazord in person, the regular one at Morphicon. It is a pretty sizable box. Obviously, I'm going to move this over to the review station in a second to actually take a look at it a lot better. But here it is. The Zord Ascension Project Lightning Collection Dino Megazord Special Edition. It even says it right there. Megazord 0101.2. So it actually does have a unique number as well, being as variant of the original one. But it is absolutely gorgeous here. I'm also terrified to open this. And I'm going to open it too. I mean, I'm also one of those people that, like, I would never want to buy it to flip it. I know I could flip this for like 500 at least, but I'm not going to do it. I want to keep this. So but I'm also terrified of like touching it, you know, because of the quality control problems of the irregular Megazord. I'm terrified of like it shattering or breaking, or if the pieces not being there or pieces being wrong. So I'm very terrified to open it, but I will. So here it is, the black and gold Dino Megazord. And here it is, the Zord Ascension Project Power Rangers Lightning Collection Megazord 0101.2 Mighty Morphin Dino Megazord Special Edition. So this box is gigantic. I have it pretty zoomed out here so you can actually see the whole thing in the frame. But it is absolutely gorgeous. I love the way that this box looks. It's essentially just a different colored version of the initial regular color version of the Dino Megazord box. Obviously just with the black and gold look there and kind of a red outline there. The slipcase obviously is different because of the fact that it has the unique number and says special edition and everything. So that is pretty cool. It is funny though that they had the plastic-free packaging sticker there. It is plastic-free packaging, but since that's supposed to be kind of an environmental pro message there, and the NFTs are not that, it's just kind of a weird kind of juxtaposition there that they have on this item. But it's still very, very pretty. I love the raised like Z and the logo and everything. I mean, it's gorgeous. I'm so happy to actually have this, and it's a very impressive box. Happy to have the product, I suppose. But on the side, which wow, it's just not going to fit in frame. Let me try to zoom it out completely there, like that. Does that even kind of get it, I suppose? But you do have a nice shot of the Dino Megazord there, black and gold, golden Lightning Collection logo right there. I know the interior box has a unique artwork that is not on the regular one. That might be the case here. Let me pull up a picture or something here so we can compare to see if it actually is or not. But I know that there's a little bit of unique stuff on this thing. And on the other side here, you do have the same thing on the original one as the Zords, which you can't even see, but T-Rex is up there. I'll kind of try to pan it up, but T-Rex is up there. Mastodon, Pterodactyl, Triceratops, and Saber-Toothed Tiger, of course. Then, of course, you have them labeled as kind of 2A, 2B, 2C, 2D. So they do still keep the 0.2 there. So they did actually change the interior of the box, of course, to reflect that, which is cool. I do like that they've kept that numbering consistent with this to add that 0.2 to the whole special edition. I think that that's pretty nice that they've kind of caught that detail. On the top, it does say that as well. We'll kind of zoom it in on for that. So Megazord 0101.2. And then on the bottom, there's just nothing there, but you do get the engraved Z in there. We'll kind of get that to catch the light. And then on the back, here it is. So as you can see, it says 1/44 scale model down there. It has the open cockpits. It shows tank mode, Megazord mode, and then it shows that the little figures that you get with these, the little Ranger standees, are all golden. Now I have seen on the initial regular color version of this Megazord, pieces really prone to breaking or being like the wrong hands, and I've seen some people get the wrong Rangers in the wrong color. So I just fingers crossed that this is actually okay and that nothing breaks. I'm literally pretty scared to actually open this thing. I'm not going to be messing with this thing much. Probably the extent of me ever messing with this will be this video, maybe one other initial time or something, but yeah, not going to be playing around with this too much. Okay, so I've gotten its outer shell off, so obviously we can see the whole Megazord head there. They do have the barcode up here, the QR code for the Zord Ascension Project website, which does actually have a unique entry in there for this black and gold version. We have the Z there. We already saw the sides of the box. The top also has that Z, and the back is just this pretty nice looking holographic Z. It's a big Z back there, which does look pretty nice, but I think we just have to cut these two tape flaps, which I think we got it maybe. Yep, we did. And then we'll cut the one here as well. I feel like I'm performing surgery here. I'm really scared to open this thing. Okay, so we have more to show off because the inside, I know this for a fact, that the interior artwork is unique. So the interior artwork, I cannot speak, is brand new and unique for this. We'll kind of move this off to the side so we can actually see it. But this is unique to the black and gold version. It's different than the one on the initial one, but it's really, really nice. I love it's kind of holographic, sort of. Not really, it just has the printing of the Z all over it, but it's the black and gold Megazord, if that was a thing that actually even existed. Punching gold on the face, which is really nice and really, really, really pretty. So you still have that whole Megazord cockpit kind of look, where the Zords are behind these windows, but it is all kind of gold tinted. It's still nice and raised. So I've seen enough of reviews of the initial regular color version to know what to expect with the interior of the box. Okay, so just like the regular one, they are all packaged in little tissue bags. So here is the T-Rex. So move the tail. I know it can unpeg right somewhere. I don't want to do that yet, but you can peg that there. Alright, just kind of getting a nice feel for it. It's still incredibly hollow. I'm still incredibly afraid to move literally anything. I hate the sound of that. So wow, they really fold that up. So here is the instruction manual, which is different to be special edition and everything like that. So there it is, Power Rangers Lightning Collection. And then inside is this entire thing, which I guess I could zoom out to kind of show better. So here is that. It shows you pretty much all the steps to go to tank mode and Megazord mode, and in the back just kind of shows you, how to make the pterodactyl and how to kind of do some of the cockpit Megazord stuff and everything. So I'm definitely, even though I know essentially the basics of how to make a tank mode and Megazord mode with the Dino Megazord, I'm definitely going to look at that just so we can make sure that I'm not breaking anything as much as possible. Now this sword, that's really, really, really pretty. So look at that. I do really like this quite a bit, with the black paint detailing in there and the black handle. That's impressive. I really do appreciate that. So it does have that gradient on the chest still. But, yeah, there it is, essentially. I do like the red. Ooh, that felt like that was not going to want to do that. I do like the red detailing inside of it, though. I think that's quite nice. See, in the promo shots, that gold looks a lot more, pretty. There was a little cardboard piece in between his legs there. So that just kind of slide out. Yeah, okay. So there's that. See, this feels somewhat substantially, like, sized, like, pretty good. You know, not super hard to make into the leg mode, so... I mean, the black and gold is gorgeous. I mean, it really is. I love this color scheme. I think it really works nicely with these. So in that regard, it is very cool. But alright, so let's go ahead and clean these up and everything, or kind of clean all the mess up, and we'll kind of take a look at each of these individually and combine them, and then put this back in the box so that nothing ever bad happens to it. So let's go ahead and check all of that out. And here are the Zords out of the packaging there, and kind of all cleaned up. So visually, it's gorgeous. I absolutely love it. Kind of handling everything here, kind of transforming everything to kind of set it up in this group shot. Definitely some interesting things going on here. I think that this is a very nice product. Not worth its price point, in my opinion. I think that there's some areas of this that are very, very nice, and other areas that are just very not okay. But I definitely need to get the original regular colored version of this thing, which obviously I totally am going to be doing eventually. But here we go. Let's just dive into it here. Let's start with the T-Rex. So I'm sure I'm not having standing up completely correctly, but the T-Rex scares me the most out of any of these guys so far. So the tail obviously does have a joint there. It's on a clip. That's very terrifying to me. It just kind of clips in there. I see, here we go. I don't want to clip it back in. Okay. So we have that. It does clip on, or kind of move there. That feels fine. But basically kind of all around, the paint detailing, kind of the NFT goldness to it or whatever. The arms, the hands, like they have that articulation. They can move. Now this one, I'll show it to you. This one can bend at that elbow joint. This one absolutely should be able to do that, but it doesn't want to. And I'm not going to force it. If it doesn't want to move, it's not going to move. So I'm not going to do it. I know that there is a joint here for the waist articulation. I think it's that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to move that. So, like, that's how I feel about everything here, is that I do not want to move it. This one's pretty okay. I do like it a lot. The articulation here is pretty nice with these. I like this movement there. The tail feels kind of loose. Both of these tails are perfectly fine on the Triceratops and Sabertooth, but they just kind of feel like they should click into place or something, and they just don't, which is fine. The wheels are fake. They don't do anything, but you can bend them and stuff there. The mouth can open, which is pretty nice. I do like that. The cockpit right there, which I forgot to show off on the T-Rex, so I'll do that in a second, but you can see this one here. It will not, on mine, fully go down, so there's always that little gap. But we'll go ahead and get my nail in there. And there is... Wow. Let's try to focus on that. There is Trini sitting in the cockpit, which is cool. I still think that's a really neat feature that I do quite like. But one thing here that I could notice on mine is that, you see right here, there's black, there's gold paint chip right there. And that's it's present on little areas all around this thing. And for a very limited item that was sold in a very ridiculous way for a very ridiculous price point, I don't want to see that. So, it's just one thing that I do not like quite a bit whatsoever. I don't know if that's just how, it was in the factory. It's a minor thing, but in the context of it, I'm going to be a lot more critical on this thing. So obviously you can tell I'm a little kind of passive aggressive in this video, but I'm legitimately just terrified of just how rare this is and how expensive it was. But there's the cockpit there for Billy, which I think these are going to focus, hopefully. And the Triceratops mouth can open. I know it can, but I haven't been able to get it to do so. Oh, there we go. So you can open that, which is cool. And then these can scooch in and out, but they were pretty difficult to kind of dig out, and I feel like they're pretty flimsy plastic when you do so. So just be careful with that. I'm not going to leave the tail extended. And before I forget again, I should probably go ahead and show off the cockpit in the T-Rex. However, I may possibly open that. There we go. So there is Jason, the Red Ranger, in the T-Rex cockpit, which is still, like I said, a really, really cool feature that it was present on this. I do think that this kind of textured pattern is not too noticeable on the black and gold, and since this is also kind of a special color scheme and everything that doesn't really exist in the first place anyway, I can forgive it here. There is a weird black mark underneath there on mine, which is really annoying. The wings feel very flimsy when you're kind of moving them like that. So just be careful with that. And then we have a nice red paint in there that you're going to not really ever see because it's going to be like connected to the chest. So I do like that. And then you have all this rotation in there. You can kind of make it kind of like accordion in on itself. But very cheap kind of looking gold plastic for the cannon feet. But I do like that they're here. I'm pretty sure... I guess she doesn't have an open mouth. But she does have a cockpit in there, which is really tiny. But there is the Pink Ranger. So pretty cool in there. See, like, once again, I think these extra designs that Hasbro added to here for no reason actually do work a little bit better when they're not as translucent plastic like they are on the regular one. And I think it works for this one. I do like it on here. And then there's kind of the whole look around. The paint is very nice. I do like it. And then the Mastodon cockpit is in there. There we go. So there's the Black Ranger. Which looks pretty cool. So there is that. And then we have the sword, which I took a look at earlier. And then I don't know how I'm going to possibly show these, but let me move the camera. I did check. Mine are all different poses, so I do think that I do have all the ones I'm supposed to. I see, like, on the regular version, what's been happening is some people have been getting, like, Rangers in the wrong color, which in this regard it doesn't matter since they're all gold here, so it doesn't really matter as long as they're 5 different poses. I can take it. So that's our little tiny Rangers at 1/144 scale, which I do think is a neat addition. I thought it was cool with the original one. I think it's cool with this one. I'm just terrified of losing them because they are very tiny, but they are included. Alright, so I'm almost done with tank mode here, and yeah, it's just giving me some stressful problems here. So I know I don't have this angled up like 100% correct. I think it's supposed to be a little bit more kind of like that for tank mode, something like that. So we kind of got that. But like the last two pieces are just, this is ridiculous. So they want you to take, I know this is kind of supposed to be angled up a little bit more, kind of the cannons. They want you to take this piece on the Mastodon and clip it in here, which like kind of wants to stay, but not at all. Oh, it's the worst. It does not want to. And now these are kind of all messed up, so let me try to fix these. I'm sure the Mastodon head is going to unpeg again. And I just, damn it! Got a little angry there for a second. This is supposed to clip in here. It's never going to want to do that, and I'm never going to be able to balance it. Like, why did they engineer it like this? Yeah, no, I'm not doing it. So there is the pterodactyl with the Mastodon head kind of there. That's kind of tank mode. You get that point. I mean, tank mode is not the best thing in the world anyway. But we'll go ahead and just move it to Megazord mode from here. So we can go and take the cannons off. And take the head that was already not resting there anyway. So we'll grab that. And then from here, it should be relatively easy. Pretty straightforward for a typical Dino Megazord transformation. So we'll adjust that. Kind of adjust these. Which are being a little difficult right now for some reason. Cry out in agony as it does that with that joint. Kind of adjust it up there. So, you know, looking pretty good. I do like the look of this thing. Okay, we're almost there. So I have pretty much everything in place here, but as I was transforming it, the mouth plate fell off, which is actually a pretty good opportunity to show you. There is the Ranger's tampographed in there. And then, of course, the final touch is to reattach that mouth plate there. Or that faceplate, maybe. There we go. And then, of course, grab the horns and rotate them out, which will complete the look of the Dino Megazord, whose red eyes are kind of hard to see in there. But I also want to show off while I did this there, the cannons that are back there that you can adjust up. Obviously, typically they are just folded down like this, but they are very tricky to do so. So there is that. And that, oh, the squeaking is terrible. But there we go, I have it. So there is the Zord Ascension Project Dino Megazord Special Edition in its Megazord mode. It's not bad. It looks good. It just was a pain in the butt to get to this point. Stop at the squeaking. Oh my gosh. So there we have that going on. So let me just adjust that up there. And I don't like having to like slot the chrome piece on this through the hand, but you can't actually open the hand. So you kind of have to do that. And I'm sure it's painted black paint on this chrome, so I'm sure it's all going to be prone to like scratching off. And the thing that's squeaking like crazy is those treads from the Mastodon you plug in as kind of a heel piece. But once you do that, you can kind of get into sort of a pose. We'll kind of get it into some kind of pose. I also, guess what I did? I finally got this to unpeg. So he actually does have his waist movement now. So look at him. He's actually doing something. So here are the now 3 black and gold Dino Megazords that I own. So we have the 2015 Bandai Legacy Toys R Us Black and Gold Edition. Then we have the 2022 Retro Megazords Walmart Wave 2 figure from Hasbro. And we have the NFT exclusive Lightning Collection Zord Ascension Project Dino Megazords. So in terms of like overall presentation, I probably definitely like this one the best. It just kind of has like that menacing, like towering look. This is just a fun, like probably like the best kind of just to like mess around with, since it's just like a cheap little figure. This is probably the nicest like quality one that we have of the 3 because it has all those die-cast metal and everything. But I always think it's just really interesting kind of seeing whenever we get special edition black and gold Dino Megazords, what they do with it, because as you can see here, like, you know, we have like the holographic sticker, and we have a lot more red here on like the waist on that version, and we kind of just, it's just kind of interesting to see where they put the black and gold and kind of what they do with it. It's all very similar stuff here, like Hasbro really likes adding the red M's onto the Mastodon, which I think looks really cool. I really like the amount of red that Hasbro added to both of these versions compared to Bandai's. You have it a little bit, obviously, with like some of the areas that were already red to begin with, but also the idea is that you always give it like a gold version of the sword rather than like a silver one. I think it's a pretty nice touch, but yeah, I mean, it's definitely very pretty, and it's a very, very nice display piece, but as you saw with my videos, you know, already so far, transforming this thing is a pain. It's just such a pain. It's not fun. It's not fun to transform it. It's kind of fun to pose it, but it's, I mean, obviously it's a display piece. It's not a toy. This one is a toy. I would even argue this one isn't a toy, but you could kind of argue that this one is more than that. Because, I mean, this one goes for a lot more money at this point. But this was like, I think around 100 when it released in like 2015. This is like 20. This was 200, you know, technically, although it's going to be a lot more if you're trying to get it now. But yeah, it's interesting. It's definitely a very cool looking piece, and it's something that I am happy that I own in some regards. But it's just something I'm not going to be, you know, getting out to mess with too often. So that's going to pretty much do it for this kind of unboxing, review, explanation, apology, I don't even know what, for the Power Rangers Lightning Collection Zord Ascension Project Dino Megazord Special Edition Black and Gold NFT whatever. So I finally have a use for this, which is like a model 1/44 scaled building that I bought off of Amazon like a year ago, or actually got as a Christmas gift a year ago, specifically for the Zord Ascension Project. So I will be leaving a link to this building in the description below. As you can see, it looks pretty nice just kind of having the Rangers kind of stand there with the Megazord in the background. I think that's pretty cool. So it's supposed to be roughly like the scale of what the Megazord would be, you know, kind of next to some city buildings. So, you know, when you have it like this and kind of have it in a pose, it's pretty nice, but as you saw in the video, it's just pretty delicate, pretty fragile, hard to deal with. Like, I'm always afraid of it shattering, exploding, whatever, you know. And like I said earlier in the video, this was just such a process to get this one that it didn't really need to be. It's definitely not something I can recommend by any means, even when it was first just regularly $200, but especially now that it's multiple hundreds of dollars. But let me know down in the comments below, what do you think of this version? Did you pick up one of the NFTs? If you did you redeem it for this? What are your opinions of me as a person now that I've gone and done this to myself? Now that I have, you know, been hypocritical and ended up buying it anyway. And if that, you know, really bothers you, I am sorry, genuinely, that I did it. But I'm happy that I do have it to have every single thing in the Power Rangers Lightning Collection and continue that trend going forward. And I will be kind of comparing it with the regular color version of the Zap Megazord whenever I do get that, which it will be soon. I'll get it before the end of the year. But yeah, this is my first exposure to Zap. I'm not too overly impressed, but I don't absolutely hate it. When, like I said, like this right here, I think looks really cool, and I like it like this. And I'm not going to leave it like this because I don't want it to get dusty. I'm going to put it back in its box and probably like never touch it again. But still, there's that. So until next time, you guys can follow me on Twitter at LivingRangerKey or LandingFreakPR, and I'll see you all next time.